"Sir, I can make your daughter walk again," said the black beggar boy. The millionaire turned and froze. It was a crisp autumn afternoon in Central Park. The wind carried a golden flurry of leaves through the air as people bustled by, joggers, lovers, tourists, and the usual New York crowds. But one man stood apart from the rest. Henry Caldwell, a billionaire real estate mogul, dressed in a tailored charcoal suit, pushed a sleek wheelchair with his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, nestled in it. Her legs, once full of life, now lay limp, covered in a pink fleece blanket. Henry, once the picture of American ambition and pride, now carried a silent pain only those who have watched their children suffer can understand. 2 years ago, Lily had been hit by a drunk driver while chasing her puppy across their gated driveway in the Hamptons. The doctors said she'd never walk again. And though Henry had poured millions into top neurologists and experimental therapies, nothing had worked. His money, which once moved mountains, now felt worthless against his daughter's tears. That's when he heard the voice, gritty, hoarse, and oddly confident. "Sir, I can make your daughter walk again." Henry turned, startled, and froze. The voice had come from a boy, no older than 12, dressed in a ragged coat several sizes too big, his skin darkened by sun and soot, dreadlocks framing his thin face. He sat on the curb, next to a battered tin can with a few crumpled dollars and coins. His feet were bare, his hands rough, yet his eyes gleamed with something pure, conviction. Henry stared at him. "What did you just say?" "I can make her walk again," the boy repeated, rising to his feet. He limped slightly, but his movements were steady, deliberate. "You just gotta trust me." A small crowd had started to form, curious about the exchange. Some chuckled. Others shook their heads. Henry felt a mix of anger and disbelief rise in his chest. Is this some kind of joke? You think this is funny? "No, sir. I don't joke about miracles," the boy said quietly, stepping forward. "My grandma taught me. She was a healer. I helped a man walk again down in New Orleans. And a girl in Philly, just last year." Henry's jaw clenched. He wanted to walk away, to shield Lily from this madness. But then she spoke. "Daddy, can we try?" Her voice was soft, hopeful. Her big brown eyes stared up at him, not with expectation, but with wonder. It had been so long since she'd asked for anything. Henry's defenses wavered. "What's your name?" he asked the boy. "Malik," he said. "Just Malik." Henry looked him over. The kid was filthy. Probably homeless. He didn't look like a con artist, but Henry had seen good actors before. And yet, there was something about him, something unshakable. "All right," Henry said, surprising himself. "Let's hear it." Malik smiled gently. "It's not about hearing. It's about feeling." He turned to Lily. "Can I hold your hand?" Lily nodded without hesitation. Malik knelt beside her and took her small hand in his. Then he closed his eyes and began to hum, low, rhythmic, like a lullaby made of wind and soul. The crowd grew silent. Even the city seemed to pause. Henry watched, tension tightening his shoulders. This was insane. But he couldn't pull away. Malik's voice was soothing, like a river over stones. His free hand hovered just above Lily's knees, not touching, just moving gently through the air. After a moment, he whispered something, words Henry couldn't make out. Lily gasped. Henry leaned in. "What is it?" "My legs. Daddy, they're tingling." Henry's heart slammed against his chest. "What do you mean?" "They feel like they're waking up," she whispered, tears sliding down her cheeks. Malik didn't stop. He continued humming, slower now, as if guiding something ancient and powerful. Then, gently, he looked up. "Try," he said. Lily stared at him, then at her father. Henry knelt in front of her, stunned, unsure. Slowly, she placed her hands on the wheelchair arms, braced herself, and tried to stand. The crowd gasped. Her legs wobbled, shaking like a fawn's, but she was rising. Henry's hands shot forward to steady her, but Malik held up a hand. Let her. Lily stood, on her own, her feet flat on the pavement. It was shaky, but real. She took one step. Then another. Henry fell to his knees, overcome, tears pouring freely now. People clapped. Others cried. Some knelt in awe. Lily laughed, a sound Henry hadn't heard in months, and threw her arms around her father's neck. You walked, he whispered, holding her as if she might vanish. I walked, she shouted. Henry turned to Malik, who was now sitting back down, picking up his tin can again. Wait, Henry said, rising, breathless. How did you do that? Malik shrugged. My grandma said love heals. That's all I know. You could have asked for anything, Henry said, reaching into his wallet. I want to give you something. Name your price. Malik shook his head. I don't need money, sir. Then let me help you. A home, food, school, whatever you want. Malik hesitated. You don't have to live like this, Henry added softly. For the first time, Malik looked unsure. Vulnerable. He stared at the ground. My grandma died last winter, he said. Since then, I just been drifting. Trying to help when I can. She used to say we don't have to be rich to be powerful. Henry placed a hand on Malik's shoulder. Come with us. Let me give you what you've given me, hope. Malik looked up. You sure? Henry smiled through tears. Son, I owe you everything. And just like that, the crowd that had once dismissed a beggar boy now parted to let him walk, not away, but forward, beside the man whose heart he'd just changed forever. 6 months later, Malik stood on a grand stage in a new school uniform, being honored for his bravery and kindness at a citywide award ceremony. Henry sat in the front row, clapping louder than anyone, with Lily, now walking confidently, beside him. News outlets covered the story across the country, headlines reading, Healer on the Sidewalk, and, The Boy Who Brought Hope to a Billionaire. But Malik didn't care for the cameras or the spotlight. What mattered was that he'd kept his promise. That Lily walked. That someone believed in him. And for Henry, a man who once thought money could fix anything, it was a homeless boy's touch of humanity that gave him the only thing he truly needed, faith. Because sometimes, the poorest among us carry the richest gifts. And sometimes, miracles don't come in lab coats or bank vaults, but barefoot, humming softly, with nothing to give but love.